Hey guys, welcome to Football Fantasy 11, your ultimate fantasy football guide. Today we are going to talk about English Premier League match between Newcastle and West Ham. This match will be played in Newcastle's home ground. Until now, they have played 25 matches between each other, and in that Newcastle have won 13, drawn 6, and West Ham have won 6 matches. Newcastle and West Ham in the last 5 matches scored 7 goals. And till now, or not till now, in the last 5 meetings between Newcastle and West Ham, Newcastle have won 2 games and drawn 3. That means they are yet to face a defeat from West Ham in the last 5 matches. But the main issue with West Ham is that they have not yet scored in the last 2 games. So they might be looking to end their goal drought. We will see whether West Ham could end the goal drought today. Now, as far as the league season is concerned, Newcastle is currently 9th in the league. They have won 5, drawn 3, lost 3. They are scoring at a rate of 1.18 goals per match and they are conceding at a rate of 1.1 goals per match. When we compare this with West Ham is currently 14th in the league. They have won 3, drawn 3, lost 5 games. And they are scoring at a rate of 1.18 goals per match, but they are conceding at a rate of 1.73 goals per match. That means West Ham have scored 13 goals, but actually conceded 19 goals. When we compare this with Newcastle have scored 13 goals and conceded only 11 goals. Now we move on to the recent form of both Newcastle as well as West Ham along with the team player overview. Now for the Newcastle, that's 5 matches. Newcastle defeated Nottingham Forest 1-3. Newcastle defeated Arsenal 1-0. Newcastle defeated Chelsea 2-0. That was in the EPL Cup, but Chelsea defeated Newcastle 2-1, and Newcastle were being defeated by Brighton 1-0. When it comes to the goal stat, Isak and Barnes both with 4 goals, Joelton and Gordon with 2 goals, Scar with 1 goal. When it comes to assist, Murphy with 2 assists, Isak with 2 assists, Barnes, Gumaras, Tonali, Willock, Gordon and Hall each with 1 assist. Now we move on to the West Ham side. West Ham in the last 5 matches. West Ham end up in a draw with Everton 0-0. Nottingham Forest and West Ham end up in a 3-0 defeat where Nottingham Forest have scored 3 goals against West Ham. Now West Ham 2-1 Manchester United. That means West Ham defeated Manchester United 2-1. West Ham were being defeated by Tottenham 4-1. West Ham defeated Ipswich 4-1. When it comes to the goal stats, Bowen with 3 goals, Kudus, Soucek and Paqueta each with 2 goals. Antonio and Ings with 1 goal. When it comes to assist, Bowen with 2 assists, Antonio with 1 assist, Killman with 1, Ings with 1 assist. Now we will check the key players of both Newcastle as well as for West Ham. In the Newcastle side, Isak is their top scorer and assist provider, so he will be a must pick in this particular game. Now when it comes to Gordon is a player who can provide both goals as well as assist. Then Barnes is also another attacking option with the same number of goals as of Isak. He is also a crucial player if he starts in this particular game. Then Gumaras or Joelton. You can prefer going with either one. If you think that Newcastle will have a lot of goals, then you can go with Joelton. If not, then Gumaras will be a much better option as he can provide you points for defensive option and other option of the footballing gameplay like passes and all. So Gumaras will be a much better option if Newcastle won't score a lot of goals. But if Newcastle scores a lot of goals, then Joelton will be a better choice. Then Sharp or Hall. Both are defensive players but have the ability to score goals or can provide assist. Then Tonali or Willock, both are midfield option but both have the ability to provide assist. And I don't think that both will be starting this particular game. Whoever is starting, you can prefer that player in your squad. When we go to the key players of West Ham, Bowen is the top scorer and the top assist provider for the West Ham side. So Bowen is a must pick for West Ham. Now Pocket, even if he is a midfielder, he is an attacking minded player and he can provide goals. So he is also a must pick as he can provide goals. Now Soucek is also a midfield option for West Ham but could provide or help you with scoring goals. Now Wan-Bissaka or Emerson, both are defensive minded players or defensive players but both plays as a wing back and they are an attacking threat and could provide you assist in this particular game. Then Antonio is an attacking player who have the ability to provide goals and assist. Then Kudus is also an attacking player. He have the ability to provide goals in this particular scenario. So what I think that I have already explained who are the key players of both Newcastle and West Ham. Based on these key players, we are going to now move on to our team prediction. If you are my regular subscriber, you know that I don't put a single team. I put team based on different scenarios, and those scenarios will be Newcastle defeating West Ham 1-0. Newcastle will be defeated by West Ham 1-0. Then Newcastle end up winning with West Ham in a tight game like 2-1 or 3-2. And Newcastle and West Ham United ending up in a 1-1 or 2-2 draw. Then Newcastle will be defeated by West Ham in a tight game like 1-2 or 2-3. That means tight game but ending up winning in a narrow margin or a 1-goal margin. Now based on this, first of all we will discuss how the team will be if Newcastle won by 1-0 against West Ham. In this particular scenario, you have to add all the 4 defenders from Newcastle whoever is in the starting lineup in this particular Dream 11 team. And you can prefer go with one West Ham United defender also. Even though you don't feel like midfielder are going to provide more points, you can add that. But I prefer going with one defender who will be Wan-Bissaka or Emerson, as both are wing backs and both are an attacking minded wing backs, could provide you points for defensive skills as well as for chances creation as well. So I go with one defender, and my midfield option now from the West Ham United will be Paqueta or Soucek from the West Ham. Now my attacking option will be Isak and Bowen. I prefer adding Bowen from the West Ham United side. Even though they won't be scoring goals, Bowen will provide a lot of points for chances creation and even for shot on target as well. My midfield choice will be Guimaraes, Gordon from Newcastle side. In that, Gordon will be my preferred vice captain. Isak will be my captain choice, as Isak is contributing with goals for Newcastle. And another vice captain choice will be Hall, as Hall have the ability to provide assist. And if you think that Shar could provide you with a header goal, then you can prefer Shar adding as a vice captain or even captain choice as well. If Shar is your captain, then I don't think that Isak could be your captain as well. If that one goal will be won by Shar, then you can skip adding Isak as your captain choice. You can directly add Shar as your captain and Hall as your vice captain, or even Gordon as your vice captain choice. Now I move on to the next scenario. Goalkeeper section you can add both, because both will be providing with points. Since it's Newcastle's home ground, I think that Newcastle will be having more shot on target, so I go with West Ham's goalkeeper Fabianski. If you think that Newcastle goalkeeper will provide more points that include saving shot on target as well as point for clean sheet, then you can go with Pope also. So both goalkeeper are a good choice in this particular scenario. But if you think that midfield option of Newcastle will provide more points, then you can prefer adding midfield, or else you can add a goalkeeper option also in this particular scenario. Now I move on to the next scenario where West Ham defeating Newcastle 1-0. In that West Ham, I prefer adding all 4 defenders of West Ham. Whoever is in the starting lineup, you have to add all 4. Then 1 or 2 midfielders, 0 or 1 striker from West Ham. 1 defender from Newcastle, 1 or 2 midfielders of Newcastle, 0 or 1 striker from Newcastle. My defensive choice from the Newcastle side will be Hall, as Hall is a wing back, could provide points for defensive point, as well as for attacking option like chances created or even shot on target as well. So I prefer Hall from Newcastle, but rest all the 4 defenders who are starting for West Ham will be added in this Dream 11 team. Like I go with Van Bissaka, Emerson, Skillman, Todibo or Maurapoa, whoever is playing, I will add him. Now, when I go into the midfielders, Guimaras and Gordon will be the midfielders from Newcastle's, and Paqueta or Soucek. Whoever is in the starting lineup, I prefer adding that particular guy. If you think that Paqueta could provide you with goals, then you can add him as a captain, because Paqueta is a much attacking minded option than Soucek, has the probability of getting scoring goals. When we compare both Paqueta and Soucek, Paqueta will be having a better goal scoring opportunity than Soucek. If you keep Paqueta, then you can keep him as a captain, and my vice captain choice will be Bowen in that particular case, or even a defender like Emerson or Van Bissaka in that particular case. If you go with Bowen, means if that goal scorer is Bowen, then you can prefer adding Bowen as your captain and Soucek in your team, and you can put Soucek as vice captain. Because Paqueta, if he don't score goals, then he will provide less points than Soucek. But Paqueta will provide you more goals if he score goals. Means only in that particular scenario, Paqueta will be providing you more points than Soucek. So please keep that in mind. If you think Paqueta will be the one scorer, then add Paqueta. If Bowen is that one scorer, then add Bowen, and in the midfield choice go with Soucek. Hope you understand that. And here also both goalkeeper are good choice. You can go with either one. Now I move on to the next scenario where Newcastle defeating West Ham 2-1 or 3-2. That means both the team will be scoring goals. Then in that particular case, I prefer 2 defenders of Newcastle's and 1 from West Ham. That 1 defender will be either Van Bissaka or Emerson. I will prefer either one from these 2, but Hall and Shar will be my must pick from the Newcastle side. And my midfielder choice will be Guimaras or Tonali. If Tonali starts in this particular game, I go with Tonali and I skip Guimaras in this particular case. Then I go with Gordon, who could be my vice captain choice also. Then Willock, Paqueta and Soucek. In this particular case, I add both Paqueta and Soucek. I think that they can take part in the goals scored by West Ham. So I prefer adding both in this particular scenario. My attacking choice will be Isaac, Bowen and Barnes. So this will be my attacking choice, and I will switch vice captain between Bowen or even Barnes. If it's 2-1, then I can prefer going with Bowen. If it's 3-2, then I will go with Barnes as my vice captain choice. Now we move on to the next scenario where West Ham defeating Newcastle in the same scenario, means same kind of a goal margin like 2-1 or 3-2. Then my defensive option will be the same, midfield option will be the same, but I will go with Paqueta as my captain or vice captain choice, as if West Ham scores 2 or 3 goals, he will take part in that particular goal. Means one of the goal will be from his side. So I will go with him. Then my attacking choice, I will go with Isaac or Barnes. Means I don't go with both. I will prefer one. If that goal scorer will be Isaac, then I go with Isaac. If that score will be from the Barnes, I go with Barnes. If Newcastle score 2 goals, then I will go with Isaac, as he can both score goals and he can assist as well. He can provide more points than Barnes, because Isaac have threats in both chances creation as well as for shot on target as well. Now the other attackers will be Bowen and Antonio. I prefer Antonio in this particular scenario because Antonio could provide goals in this scenario. So you can prefer going Antonio as well as Somerville will be an good choice if West Ham is scoring a lot of goals, because Somerville he have scored goals in the recent games. So he is on a good run of form now. So Somerville or Antonio, you can prefer both in this particular scenario. Now we move on to the last and final scenario where Newcastle ending up in a draw with West Ham. Here the team will be similar. I have added Joelton from the Newcastle side because Joelton, if Joelton starts, then he could be a goal scoring threat for West Ham. So I added Joelton. So here, as you can see, that I have preferred different choices from the Newcastle as well as West Ham. The key players of this match will be, please note this guys, Hall and Shar will be a key defenders from the Newcastle side. Then Van Bissaka or Emerson, either one from these two will be the key. And in the midfield choice, Gordon, Paqueta, Soucek. This will be the key players. You can switch the fourth one like Gumaras, Tonali. You can go with Willock. You can go with Soucek, etc. But the must pick will be Gordon, Paqueta. Those are my must pick choices. Then when it comes to the attackers, Isaac is a must pick, Bowen is a must pick. These two players are must pick. Then the third one you can go with Barnes or even Joelton or even Somerville. You can switch the other one, but the key players will be Isaac, Bowen, Gordon, Paqueta, Hall, Shar, Van Bissaka or Emerson. And keeper, both of them are good choice. You can go with either one based on who will be scoring more. You can prefer other keeper based on that. If West Ham scores more, then you can go with Newcastle's goalkeeper who will be Pope. Or if West Ham scores more goals, then you can go with Fabianski. And if Newcastle score more goals, then you can go with Pope, as they won't give you points for goal conceding. So based on that, please create your team wisely. Hope I have provided all information that you need. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.